Hey everyone, can you hear me? Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
All right, great. Good evening everyone. Wish you all a happy Saturday. I'm just waiting for a minute so everyone can join in. I'm glad every all of you can hear me, right? Okay, great. I see a few comments is yes. Okay, I'm just waiting for another 2 minutes so everybody can join in. If I'm not audible, please let me know. Hope all of you have had your snacks, you've had your tea, and you've buckled up for interview hacks. Okay, everyone. So let us begin. Okay. So how many of you have attended my previous session about LinkedIn hacks and also about resume writing? Just drop me has on the chat messages. If you have attended my previous session, this is about resume writing and LinkedIn hacks. Please say yes or no. Okay. So a lot of you have attended. Okay, great. I see a lot of you have attended the session. So, okay, so especially for resume writing, before I begin the interview hacks, I have a few things that needs to be clarified. I have a few things that I want to convey to all of you, which is definitely going to benefit you, especially for resume writing. I see one common mistake that most of you do. I know a lot of people have reached out to me in regards to your resume, especially. I have helped you. I have shared you the important details which is required to be added on your resume. There is one mistake that most of you do, which I request you not to go ahead and do it. That is, one the roles and responsibilities or the points that you add into your projects or your internship details has to be crystal clear. It has to show what exactly you're working towards. It should not sound like you are doing a course in internship. I see most of you who have written points, who've added points which is not professionally up to the mark. So use Chat GPT. I recommend you use GPT or ask people who have experience in that field or come to me, reach out to me, and I'll help you add in the required points for your internships, roles, and responsibilities, and also your project details has to be crystal clear. Okay, there has to be an agenda, especially in regards to the project, as to what is it that exactly you're doing and what are the skill sets that you're adding in. The same goes with your internship details. When you are an intern in a particular company, do not make it sound like you are actually learning a course there. You should sound like you have learned a specific skill set and you're applying it, and this is what you've implemented. It should sound like you have worked in a team, you have learned a certain amount of skill sets which is going to benefit the company. Okay, so ensure this changes. I see this to be a common mistake. So if you are unable to do it, do reach out to me. I will help you with it on LinkedIn. Understood? Okay, fine. All right, let's move forward. So, interview hacks. So, all of us know that, especially for freshers, when you are going to be facing the recruiter for the first time, there is some amount of nervousness. When I was in that phase, I had the same thing going through. I was very nervous. I had a dry mouth. I was scared. I was not confident about what they're going to ask. All of this is a phase that we go through, we pass through, and we experience it, and we get confident. Now, so here is my attempt to help you how you can crack your interviews. A few hacks I'm sure there's tons of videos, there's tons of things which is available online, but I want to share with you of what exactly is required for from the industry standards and what are the common questions which can be asked while during the interview. So mind it that this session is not going to be technical related interview questions that I am sure you will prepare for, and you need to prepare for your interview skill sets and give out the interviews differently, which is going to be mostly multiple choice question or problem statements. That is first round which you will go through, especially for technical. Then you have your analytical interview where basically we test you for your problem solving abilities, scenario based questions. And finally comes your behavioral. Here is where the final HR interview happens, where we check your commitment to your attitude, your overall EQ, and whether or not you will be capable to work in the company environment. Okay, all of it is required, and here are a few hacks which will definitely help you, and we will discuss about your questions as well along the way. Okay. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's begin. Now, once again, are you all able to hear me? Yes or no on the comments, please. Is everything clear of so far I have shared with you? Is my voice clear? Yes or no on the comments, please. All right, great. Yes, thank you. I see a lot of you are active. Very nice. Okay, so let's begin. So today's agenda. So basically, today we will be understanding how to understand the company you apply for. The second important question that most interviewers ask is for tell me about yourself, your accomplishments, and we will also discuss about touch points about body language, powerful word adjective, why me, which means basically going to share with you a few professional words which you can use during your start of interviews and practice before interviews, a few tricks and tips which is going to help you. So mind it, so here are just a few questions that I have brought across which is common to all of you, starting off, and also once you get experience this is definitely going to help you a lot. Okay, so let us start one by one and let us begin with understanding the company you apply for. So this is a little bit about myself. As I have discussed previously, I have over 7 years of work experience in the HR industry. I have I have experience in the US, India, and in the UK market. I'm also a startup and consulting enthusiast. I had an opportunity to visit the UK, and I was trained in the Facebook office, especially in the field of HR and how we can run a startup and Toastmasters during the weekends. I am very passionate about public speaking and communication skill sets and also leadership qualities. So and hence Toastmasters is a great platform for it, which is helping me as well. If you are interested, you can also be a part of Toastmasters, which is definitely going to help you with your communication skills, your leadership abilities, so on and so forth. Now let's move forward. All right, so learn about the company you apply for. So research is very important. My experience over 7 years, even today, I ask the people who I interview of what they know about the company that they are applying for. So this basically talks about the research that you have done, your attention to detail, and how smart you are to understand what is happening in the company. Okay, so it is very important for you to understand the company that you apply for, because this is not only going to benefit the recruiter but also yourself, because you understand what kind of a culture that you're getting into. No one wants to get inside a toxic culture. No one wants to get inside a company that is not good for them. So and hence it is important to do your research right. Okay, so I am very sure even before you've applied for your engineering colleges, you've done your research in regards to the college that you want to join. So you have prepared for it, and that's why you've applied to the required colleges, right? Because it's going to groom yourself. It's the same here. So let us look at how we can understand and what are the key pointers that is required for you to understand before you apply for a company. Okay. So first of all, you need to understand the key players of the organization. To try and understand who is the CEO, who are the main guys who actually built this company. Try and understand from LinkedIn. You can go to their LinkedIn profile and check out how long they've been for and what is the value that they have added for this particular company. Okay, and there is nothing wrong with it. It can be boring in the beginning, but once you start your career, you will understand how beneficial that information can also be, because at the end of the day they're making business, bringing business to the company. So it's good for you to understand who are the key players in the organization. Next, news and recent events about the employer. So news and events in the so about the employer is possible for you to take the information from LinkedIn as well. So you need to understand what are the recent events which is gone about for a particular organization. How much revenue have they bought in? Have they raised money? All of these information is very important. So you can check it out on LinkedIn. It is also available on Google. You can Google it and try and get a few information yourself. And next, the most important thing. So before you join a company, especially if there are any startup enthusiasts, if there are a lot of people who are interested to apply for startups, now show of hands or show, I want to understand over here who here is interested to apply for startups. Yes or no? Just say a me over the chat box. I want to understand who are these people who are very interested in working for startups as well. Any startup enthusiasts? Okay, I only see one S. Who's interested to work for a good startup where you can enhance your skill sets, be a part of it, and things like that? Okay, okay. I see very few yeses coming up. But that's all right. See, especially when you're trying to get inside a startup, it is important for you to understand the mission, vision, and values. It is important you dig in a little bit more and try to understand where the startup is heading, what is their culture, what exactly do they want. That is very, very important, because sometimes not all startups are the same. There can be a toxic culture. So in order to avoid it, ensure you do your research well and then join in. And the same goes with bigger MNC companies. They have a wider vision and the right statements for vision values. So you can check it out. You will obviously like it. I'm sure you have your cousins also who can help you with it. So understand what exactly they are into. Just read it through and then go ahead before you apply for the company. Then finally, we also learn about the clients, the products, and the services that they are providing, be it startups, mid level companies, or an MNC company, product based or a service based company. Ensure you do a little research about the clients that they work with, the products that they're dealing with, the services that they're going to provide. So once you're well versed with these kind of information, it gives a thought that the recruiter, it has a good impression on you. They know that you're well versed and you're well researched. It basically says that you are confident in these information. All right. Okay. Great. Now, how can we do it? So, what are the platforms and how can you go about it? I've already explained this to you previously, but once again, let me tell you that how you can go about is definitely by visiting the company website, doing the research. You can also learn about it on LinkedIn. You can find the company on social media such as Twitter, there is Instagram as well. Especially for startups, I recommend you do your research. There is Glassdoor, of course, which also talks about the employee culture, the salary scales, the hikes that they provide, and how the environment is, things like that. There's Zoba Crop, which also provides you with commercial information and insights of the business. So all of these are a few pointers, especially for freshers. That is more than enough for you to be applying for the company. Now, here, I would like to ask you, do you know any other places or do you do your research before you apply for the company? Will you ensure that you do it moving forward? Will you ensure that the company you apply for, you've done thorough research? Yes. All right. I see a couple of yeses coming up. Okay. Now I want to ask you, in general, did you ever go to LinkedIn or any websites to understand about a company, to understand what stocks are there, to understand where they are heading. Has anyone done it for any companies? Yes or no in the chats? I want to understand. If yes, let me know. Great, great. I see a few yeses coming up. Superb, superb. Okay, so tell me, where do you do your research? In the comment section, I want to understand where is it that you do your research. I've already shared a few pointers of where I do it from and where other people can also do it from for to understand the basic information. Now I want to understand, where do you go? Do you go on LinkedIn? Do you go on Google? Do you go on TechGig? There is something called as TechGig. I don't know how many of you know about TechGig, where you do get the information about various companies. Great. People say Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and their official company official page, LinkedIn and Glassdoor. Okay, okay, LinkedIn. Hmm. So LinkedIn has been a useful tool for all of you. Okay, great, fine. I'm very happy that you are all already doing your research, company's website and all. Okay, yeah, that is a basic thing, especially for bigger companies. You go ahead and learn about it on company website itself for sure. But ensure when it is a startup, especially in Bangalore, we are a startup hub. There are various startups coming up. When it is startups, or when you're very interested to go work for a startup, ensure you've double checked, you understand the company, you understand the growth of it, you understand what kind of products they are working for. You also talk about whether or not they're giving salaries on time, and things like this has to be verified. So ensure you verify all of these information and then take it ahead. Okay. So just my suggestion. Otherwise, the bigger companies, is very easy. The information is too accessible for you to go ahead and do it. Okay, great. And happy for all of you that you are all doing it. If you have not done it, go ahead, do your research, ensure you're up to date about what is happening. Okay, all right. Let's move ahead. Are you able to see my screen? Are you all able to see my screen? Yes or no on the comment section? Okay, great. Okay. So here is the most popular question that most recruiters ask. Tell me about yourself. This question is something that you're going to see for a very long time, even after you have joined the company. If you're planning to apply for other companies, this question is going to be very common for all of you. Okay. Now, how are you going to answer it is is very important. Okay, guys, just tell me if you're able to see my PPT. Does the screen say tell me about yourself or not? It's clearly visible. Are you able to see the content which is written? Hello, sir, ma'am. My name is Grishma. I'm a software engineer, graduate from St. John's Engineering, things like that. You're able to see? Okay, fine. Okay, it's clearly visible. All right, fine. Great. So let's move ahead. So there is a structure. Yeah, I understand the content is blurry, but don't worry, I'll read it out for you. And this PPT is going to be shared with you, so you'll have access to it. Don't worry. Okay, now coming back. So, like I mentioned, there is a structure to tell me about yourself. Now, before I even begin, one important point that I would tell all of you is, don't be afraid to talk, don't be nervous, sound confident. That is the key. If and the more you communicate around, the more you participate in a few events where there is a lot of communication. That's how you improve your communication ability. Okay, So ensure you do that. So when we say tell me about yourself, there is a certain structure that you need to add in. So let's just see this example which I have written. Okay, don't worry, I understand it's a little blurry, but don't worry at all. I'm going to be reading it out for you. I want all of you to be a good listener. So just listen to what I'm saying here. Okay, let's start. Here is a sample that I have written. Hello, sir or ma'am. My name is Grishma. I am a software engineer graduate from St. John's Engineering College with a CGPA of 8.0. Okay. So this is the first sentence. So listen, if you want to tell your CGPA, you can tell your CGPA. You don't want to say it, you don't have to say it. But what is important is say who you are. You can also say that I'm an aspiring software engineer or a marketeer or an electrical engineer, so on and so forth. And you can say the college that you've graduated from, add in your CGPA if you want to. And you can say you have a passion for coding and problem solving. I am well acquainted with HTML, CSS, Python, and SQL. I'm an eager learner, constantly trying to improve on my skill sets. I'm a team player and collaborating, and I love collaborating with on projects. You can mention this. Okay. See, first and foremost, let me tell you that recruiters will not have all day, so you don't have to have a huge katha on what you are. Nobody has that much time to listen to everything that you have to say. Do not get too personal. Do not add any kind of personal information when they're asking you tell me about yourself. Keep it simple, crisp, on point. That's it. Talk about who you are, where you're from, what are the skill sets that you have learned, what are your strengths. Your strengths can be a good team player. It can be it can be the fact that you've learned a specific coding skills and you can collaborate on projects and you've probably even innovated something or you've designed your own website, so on and so forth. But there is a structure to it and you need to add that structure in. Okay, what you can also add is probably the location you are from, because it is easy for the recruiter to understand which location you're from, and to ensure sometimes they would probably, if you're from Bangalore, they would want to add you in Bangalore. If you are from Bangalore, they would also check with you if you're comfortable moving to Pune or Mumbai, because the placements is different in different areas, right? So it's good to add in your location. Okay. Now, if you have interned anywhere, that catches attention. So especially now, recruiters are looking for people who have some amount of experience, some amount of coding experience, and some amount of internship experience. Okay. It is important. Now, so for this question, tell me about yourself. Do any of you have any questions that you would like to ask me? Please ask me. Do you understand the structure that you have to be saying it in? Do you have any questions with regards to tell me about yourself? This is a very simple question. There's just a certain structure that needs to be added in, and that's it. You're good to go. Any questions? Okay, I see none of you have any questions. Then I will move forward. Okay. Somebody is asking for a few tips on GD round. See, I will tell you. Uday, I will definitely note this question down. I will tell you at the end for sure. Okay. You don't have to mention about your family background. Unless and until they don't ask you, you do not have to explain about your family background. Okay. All right, let's move ahead. Thank you very much. There's one question. If we say that we are a team player, do they ask tell how? Depends on recruiter to recruiter. If they're asking you, then you need to give them a scenario for sure. If and this you can definitely say. Since if you have worked in any projects or anything, I will tell you. I'll come to that. I'll help you out with it. Don't worry. Okay, there's another question. This is in regards to the do a research on the company details. Is it better for verification of information of any startup companies by connecting to people inside the company and how to approach them for the same? Okay. See, yes, you can do it. You can get connected to the recruiters there. They will definitely tell you how the company is. There's nothing wrong with it for sure. But it is good to go on the main website, check their reviews, go on Glassdoor, and understand more about it. Do your own research as well. Do both so that you have more information. Okay. All right. Let's move forward. Let's talk about accomplishments. So, why do recruiters ask these questions? Why are recruiters trying to understand what have you accomplished? It basically defines how strong you are with your skill sets, how confident you are, and that is why there are high possibilities that they can ask you what are the accomplishments that you have done so far. Okay. Now, how can one approach this particular question is this way. So during my studies, I was consistently on top of my class and I was able to develop problem solving and programming abilities. I have also completed Python, Java, and C++ certifications. So, mind it, this is just a sample. So, I understand that not everybody are toppers, no, neither was I. But if you have any other curricular activities that you have done, you should definitely emphasize on it. Okay, you can say that during my studies, I was a team leader. During my studies, I have participated in a lot of events, in a lot of college events. It basically determines your leadership ability, it determines your communication skills, it determines how you have balanced between the fest and your studies. So these are very important pointers that you can definitely say and share to a recruiter. So not only did you learn about your technical skill sets, but you were also a team player. You were also doing a lot of things. You knew how to balance, which basically talks about your time management skills. So these adds in a lot of value, and the recruiter understands that you've been capable of doing it all, and you've been able to handle situations, which gives you an edge as a student. Okay. All right. So here, few other pointers to add. Like I've told you, you can talk about your extracurricular activities that you've participated, such as it could also be hackathons. And if you were a brand ambassador for a for a particular company and you've represented in your college, talk about it. Talk about the achievements that you have achieved in your internship programs, your projects, things like that. It could, however small or big, you can mention your accomplishments. All right. Okay, see, if they're going to ask you about hobbies, you can talk about singing, painting, your writing abilities. If you're into cycling, if hobbies are some amount of extra skills that you have learned, which basically talks about your consistency in doing it and how creative you are as a person. It's out of the box kind of a thing that you have done for yourself. It can also be DJing, it can also be painting, it can be any of these things. Okay. Yes, if they ask you, you can talk about it. All right, let's move forward. Now, do any of you have any questions in regards to accomplishments? Any other questions that you would like to be addressed upon? Are all of these clear? Okay, let's move ahead now. Strength and weaknesses. So this is one of the most common questions that most recruiters ask, and it is a very important question. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why do recruiters ask these questions? They ask you this question to understand about how self-aware you are about yourself. Are you aware of your strengths? Are you aware of your weaknesses? How are you dealing with your weaknesses? If you do have any such of weaknesses, it's these are behavioral question which also defines you of who you are as a person. So let's go in detail. Okay, let's talk about, do you know about your weaknesses? Okay, so how many of you are very well aware about your weaknesses? I want to ask you these questions. Everyone have weaknesses. Everybody have something or the other. So are you Have you defined your weaknesses? Do you know how to define your weaknesses? Yes or no on the comments, please. So have you defined, let me ask you this question again. Have you defined your weaknesses? Have you done a research online? Have you defined how, do you know how you can define your weaknesses? Okay, yes and a no, both of these things. Great. So today you will be doing it. You will take a sheet of paper or you can do it on your phone and you're going to define your weaknesses. Okay? So as simple as that. I'm sure you've participated in small things. I'm sure you can explore yourself. If you have not, now is the time for you to explore yourself, understand about yourself, and define yourself. Great, great. I see a lot of no, yes, kudos to you. I'm glad you're able to accept it also. Not many people can do it. All right. So let's see about weaknesses here. So weaknesses I have mentioned. People are unable to manage time. There is procrastination. Some people do not know how to delegate work. Some people don't know how to ask for help. Indecisiveness, fear of public speaking, communication skills. All of these are your weaknesses. Okay, yes, these are the weaknesses. This is very normal. These weaknesses is something that we all go through, especially as a fresher. We will have these kind of weaknesses. If you have participated in projects, if in general you think about projects in general, you will be facing these kind of weaknesses. Okay, so if a recruiter is asking you about weaknesses, you can talk about how difficult it was for you to manage time, how difficult it was for you to delegate tasks, or sometimes you would procrastinate things and things, all of these things. Okay, so now let's come to the main point. When a recruiter is asking about what are your weaknesses, you will have to give smart answers. When I say smart answers, it needs to sound like, hey, you know what? Yes, I have this weakness, but I have worked on it and I am working towards making it better. That's how you need to sound. For example, if somebody is asking me, what are my weaknesses? I would say, the so when I was participating in a project or when I was involved in implementing a project, the biggest challenge that I faced was collaborating with my teammates. It is only because I did not know how to communicate. But over a period of time, I have done my research. I have asked people. I've learned. I've spoken to my mentors who've helped me solve these issues, and eventually I started communicating among my teammates and ensured I work with them for better. Okay, so this is how it needs to stand. Okay, this is how it has to sound as well. For example, for another example is also time management skills. So you can also say that initially when you started off working initially when I started off working in a project, I did not know how much time that has to be given in for this. Sometimes there were prolonged sessions and sometimes there was procrastinations, but eventually I came to an understanding with due to my mentors and a few research that I did online. I managed to collaborate with my teammates and ensured delegate I delegated the tasks on time and ensured that I also finished publishing the paper or finishing the tasks in my project. So this basically helped me in enhancing my time management skills, my procrastination skills, and also the collaboration skills among my teammates. Okay, it has to sound this way. So there is many samples. Don't worry, I'm going to be showing you more. But this is something that we can emphasize in regards to the weaknesses. Okay, all right. So let's move forward. So after weaknesses, once this is done, we'll talk about strengths. Okay. Now, strengths is the easy part. There are many strengths that you can talk about. You can Google upon it and you'll find many. But let me talk about professional strengths that you can keep in mind. Okay. So the here are a few points that I have added. One is flexibility, problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, teamwork, leadership, communication, critical thinking, innovation, time management, fast learner. So for each of you, there can be different kind of strengths. So you can take a pen and a paper and make sure you write down these kind of strengths. You try to understand about yourself, ask questions, and make a note of your strengths. Okay, you can do it. I hope all of you are going to keep in mind, and I hope all of you will do it. Yes or no? Drop in the comments. This is an important question. This is very important for your future. So, all of you are going to do it. Have you started doing it? Are you going to do it today? Yes or no on the comments, please. Great, great. You can do it all. Connect with me. Share your strengths and weaknesses. We can work around it as well. If it is a yes, and if you're willing, if you've decided, kudos to you again. This is also self-discovery, and I'm glad that you're all doing it. Okay, fine. I see a lot of yeses, good enthusiasm. So ensure you do it, ensure you connect with me, ensure you share it. We'll work around it. Okay. So when a recruiter asks you what are your strengths, you can give them you can definitely give them these pointers with an example. Say for example, problem solving. So let me tell you guys, problem solving is an important skill set that each and everyone should learn and have it, because it's all about solving problems today. So enhance it. It's an important skill set that recruiters and the company looks for. Okay. So ensure you also develop an attitude of solving problem wherever you go, whatever you do. Ensure you have the ability of a problem solving approach. Okay. So ensure when you're giving your answer to the recruiter, it should sound like, hey, you know what, there was this situation and I was able to do it because I was a problem solver. We will look at samples in a bit. But is all of these clear? Is the strength and the weakness clear to you? Are all the pointers clear? Do you have any questions in regards to strengths and weaknesses? Okay, fine. Now let's move ahead. Here are a few examples that I have taken, especially for strengths. So let's look into it. Okay, zooming in a little bit so it is easy for you also to see. Okay, so here are a few examples that you can take. My greatest strength is that I have solid work ethic. The projects and internships I have done has trained me well to meet my deadlines. So this basically talks about time management. It talks about how committed you are at work. It also talks about how work oriented you are, which gives a recruiter the idea that okay, you have this experience and you're capable of doing things. Okay. Now, another example for strengths. One of my core strengths is that I am an excellent team player as I enjoy collaborating with my teammates for the project. So this basically talks about your team player skills. Okay. Now, it also varies for the kind of job that you're applying for. Ensure you also know what kind of a job you're applying for. So if it is a software related, then talk about the strengths which is particular to in the software field. And the same goes with various domains. Okay. Now, let's come to the weaknesses. Okay. So it so happens that most of us might have a great technical skills, but where sometimes we lack is definitely in terms of your communication, right? So it is important that we have a good communication skill. We are diplomatic. We do not bring in personal grudges. We do not bring in personal fights while we're working together. This is very important when you're joining a company. So here it says that the most challenging situation I came across was understanding to collaborate with my teammates, which I've already explained to you previously. Let me continue the statement here. So, and meeting the deadline. So the most challenging situation I came across was understanding to collaborate with my teammates and meeting the deadlines. However, this was resolved when over a period of time, once communicated, found solutions to it and solved it. As simple as that. So you have a problem and you found the solution and you were able to make it work. So this is how you can give clarity. This is how you can give clarity to the recruiters. Okay. So this is about the strengths and weaknesses which you can build upon, and I'm sure you'll be able to crack it. There are many such instances, many such strengths that you yourself can bring about and talk about it. So if you need help, get connected with me and I can help you with it. Okay. All right. So do you have any questions? Once again, I'm going to ask you, do you have any questions in regards to this question? Is for especially for strengths and weaknesses. Okay. So here there is a question which says, ma'am, in case of procrastination and asking for help has weaknesses, what is the best possible reply? The best possible reply is the reason. So you can say, yes, I used to procrastinate and I did not know how to ask for help. The only reason because of fear, right? So what I did to this approach is I took small steps. I started taking small steps to ensure that I stop my procrastination. How did I do it? By taking small steps ahead for implementing a particular project, or actually learning a skill, or even waking up in the morning. So these are small steps which I took to ensure that I beat my procrastination, and I was able to do it over a period of time by myself, which also talks about self motivation. Okay. So this is one way of approaching when a recruiter asks you, or when you yourself are telling that I had a habit of procrastination, but how I beat it is only by taking these small steps which gave me confidence, and eventually I was consistent, and I did not procrastinate any of my tasks. I also ensured that I had a to-do list which gave me an edge, or which told me what is the next thing that I have to do, and this is how I beat my procrastination. Okay, asking for help. The very reason I was unable to ask for help is only because of fear of what they will think about me. But eventually, I realized that if I don't ask for help, I will never know. So I took small steps. I started with asking my mentors or even my best friends. I broke my ego. I took small steps ahead, and first of all, I accepted that I needed help, and secondly, I took small steps to ensure I find the right people for help, and I did the right thing eventually. So this is another way of how you can approach this particular weakness of what you just said. Okay, all clear? Glad you're asking questions. So now let's move forward. I don't think anybody else have any other questions. So I will move ahead with another important question. Why should we hire you? Okay. So before I move ahead, there are plenty of approaches that we can do. I will give you this sample as well. But at this point in time, if I ask you, why should I hire you? Do any of you have any answers to this? Do any of you have any answers to this? I see silence. I see a lot of you must be thinking about it. You can take your time. You can write it down. That's all right. Okay, fine. Let me tell you. So, this is an important question for a recruiter because it basically helps a recruiter understand how confident you are, how much you know about the company, and why you want to join. It basically talks about your maturity level of working as well. Okay, so here are a few examples of how you can approach. The first one is, as I am applying for a technical job, I understand that you're looking for a person who's technically skilled and a good communicator, which I think I am good for the job as I have the required skill sets. Okay. See, ensure that you do not elaborate, don't keep it short. Ensure you keep it short, crisp, and on point. That is the key. Okay. The second thing is, I believe I have the combination of skills and experience necessary to excel in this role. I have a proven track record of successfully executing projects on time and within budget. as well as the ability to manage multiple tasks simultaneously. This is another way of you can inform, especially of the final year students, especially when you're doing projects and when you are investing on that project for the specific hardware equipments or software equipments. You can be talking about all of these details because it's going to help the recruiter understand how detail oriented you are as well. Okay. All right, next. I have excellent communication and interpersonal skills, which are essential for working in a dynamic environment such as this. Overall, I'm confident that my enthusiasm, technical aptitude, and commitment to success will make an asset to your organization. Okay, so you can tweak in, you can definitely modify, but here is one thing you can be honest about what you have learned. You, if especially if you have great communication or interpersonal skills, this is something that you can definitely go about, and make it crystal clear, and short, crisp, and on point to the recruiter. Okay, it can also be this way. And finally, I have another approach. The fourth point, which is on the right, I have a flexible approach to problem solving, and I am proactive in finding innovative solutions. Okay, guys. So this is one of the important approach and important point. Like I have mentioned, I really want to stress upon problem solving. Problem solving is a very important skill set, especially today. Basically, it determines that you are not just someone who is just mugging up things and copying things and adding it out. You have your own approach, you are research oriented, and you are capable of solving problem brick by brick and bring your own innovation. So this is a very unique thing that people will look forward to, especially on your resume, especially for you as well. So ensure that you bring your own self and be very different in this competitive world. So this is one of the approaches. Yes, you can say it this way. And you can also say I can take ownership of my work and I am committed to delivering results that benefit team and organization. For these reasons, I believe I am the most suitable candidate for this position. And this particular sample or this particular approach of saying it is very, very useful, especially for startups, particularly for startups, because they are looking for hustlers. They're looking for someone who can take ownerships, they are looking for they're looking for innovators as well. Not that bigger MNC companies do not. Product based companies, service based companies do look for it, but it is much easier there as the structure is already built. And there are certain structure that one has to follow that shouldn't be an issue. But when it is coming to startups, this is something that they will look forward to. So this is one of the best approaches that you can go about. Feel free to modify, feel free to speak about, and practice it before you go to the company and say it out. Okay, all right. So let's move ahead. So I have a bit of time constraint, so I'm going to hurry a little bit, but don't worry, this will be shared with you. And you can also connect with me if you have any questions. Okay. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So, why are the recruiters asking these questions? So, they're asking to check how committed you will be with us. They're asking to check if you will be with us long term, or are you a kind of a person who is going to look for masters after 2 years? Are you someone who's looking at career growth? Are you someone who is capable of becoming a manager and teaching it to others as well? So this is exactly why four pointers of why the recruiters ask you these kind of questions. Okay. So one of the best way, I have the sample which I have written, is that I'm really excited about this position because in the next 5 years I would like to see myself having an end-to-end expertise in software development cycle. Okay, of course. The main agenda for any one of us, especially in the corporate world, is to learn the skill set, have the experience, move forward, have an end to end experience, and be skilled at it. Okay, then comes. And I know that this job will give me that opportunity. I am even excited about developing my managerial skills and in a couple of years, even take a lead on some projects. Okay, so this is one of the important pointers and samples that I have shared with you, will share with you, and this is the best example of how you can portray the interviewer. Feel free to again modify it, not an issue, according to a proper structure. Also, do not give any direct answers to the recruiter saying that I want to be the CEO. That is unrealistic. or I see myself in your position, which is also not realistic. So do not go out of the box and say anything that comes to your mind, but have a professional approach to it. Okay. Okay, so these are a few common important questions, behavioral questions that people will ask you, and this is something that you can say and go about. Okay, so body language is very important. It might sound very small, but it is not. Body language basically defines if you're nervous, if you're confident, if you're knowledgeable, and here it defines your attitude. So attitude is everything, guys. So ensure your body language is practiced well and you sound confident. This will only come with practice. Here are a few pointers that you should keep in mind. Okay. So don't be afraid to talk. The moment you start sounding confident, recruiters will also listen to you. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask questions as well. You can ask questions. You may be here waiting to get a job, but you can definitely ask them questions. Okay. This also shows the recruiter that you're confident and you have the guts to even ask, and you're not afraid, because of course if you're confident, you have the skill sets that you want to apply for, so you can ask them questions. Okay, next one. Looking anxious or bored by repeatedly crossing and uncrossing your legs or arms. I have seen a lot of students do this. I have seen experienced candidates do this as well. Do not do it. Okay, don't be don't be relaxed. Observe when you're in a room. Just observe what is happening around you. Have a smile on your face and sound confident, and look confident. That's it. Okay, do not be too bored. If you don't like this, if you don't want to apply for it, don't apply for it. Look for something that you're interested in, apply for that. Okay, moving forward. Fiddling with your hair. I see a few people fiddling with their hair as well, which basically says that you're nervous again and you're not ready to face the recruiter. Okay. Next one, constant or bold gesturing. Now, don't be too overconfident or too over bold that you're gazing at the recruiter constantly. Don't do that. That's weird. So I see not everyone will do it, just a few of them who do not know. I have been in the situation where I have seen people who do it, so just don't do it. It's not right. Next one is continuously playing with your hair, fiddling with your hair, continuously playing with your hair is one and the same thing. So do not do it, and don't keep touching your hair or doing anything. This happens mostly with a few girls, with a few men probably with their scratching their hair and things like that. So don't do it. I see this common thing which happens is shaking your leg. It's not right, so don't do it. Okay, specific to both the genders, don't do it. Smile when you mean it. So this is a weird approach where I've seen a few students who are too shy to answer a few questions. Don't be too shy to answer a few questions, and don't smile all the time. Just smile when it is required and when you actually mean it. So it basically defines your confidence. Okay. So again, I'm stressing on the point that confidence is very important, and if you are a kind of a person who's too shy or do not know how to converse or do not know how to approach, I would recommend you join a few classes. I would recommend you also discuss among your friends, and talk about it and come out and improve your communication skills. It brings in a lot of confidence. Not only does it enhances your confidence, it also enhances your leadership ability, which you will not regret. This is going to be useful for you in the future. So don't take this lightly. It is going to be very helpful. Take it ahead and do it. Okay. And next one is avoid keeping your arms crossed. Yes. So when you are keeping your arms crossed or when it is folded, it basically says that you are too closed off and you're not very interested in this opportunity, or you're not very interested to talk to the person who's in front of you. Okay. Hand gestures. Finally, hand gestures is something that you should use, and this talks about how expressive you are and how confident you are, and how naturally you're able to put out points. Okay. So body language may sound like a very small thing, but trust me, guys, it is very important. It gives a good impression to the recruiter. It tells you how forward you can move. Okay, ensure you work on all of these things and you're good to go. Okay, all right. So let's move forward. So here are a few powerful word adjectives that you can use, especially for a student, especially with an interviewer. Enthusiastic, fast learner, hardworking, innovative, problem solver, creative. So these are a few adjectives which is going to help you, see, which you can definitely keep in mind. So these are a few pointers that you can throw here and there. Okay, all right. So practice before interview. So practice before your interview. So ensure that you talk to a couple of your friends. Having mock interviews are very important. So here I understand that it is a competitive world, but it is important that you help each other out, be collaborative with each other. Ensure you form groups or ensure you approach your friends, take mock interviews among each other, pull out a few questions online. There are various interview, especially behavioral questions, and I've also told you a couple of questions. Practice it out. Practice makes a man perfect. Nothing like practicing and practicing it live. Don't do it in your head. Do it live. Take approach and help each other out. Okay. So this is the second point. That's what it says, that do not practice it in your head, but say it out loud so you can practice. So you can practice your and enhance your communication and vocabulary skills as well. Okay. So as Indians, I understand that we all or most of us do have some amount of accent, and also we are bound to make grammatical mistakes. But don't be afraid to make it. Don't worry about the grammar. Just stay confident. It's all about confidence. And finally, while facing the interviewer, ensure you're not too arrogant or too humble. So just say confident. Like I said, it's all about confident. So this is exactly what I wanted to share, and this these points will definitely help you. Let me also tell you that every time you look at an interview, just look at it as a experience and as a meeting. So every interview is a lesson that you will learn and you will push forward to. Don't take it for granted, neither take it too seriously. Just go experience it. It's all about learning. And I'm sure all of you will crack it. Okay? That's it. So here is my LinkedIn account. So you can approach me if you have any questions in regards to this. I will come up with more for sure. I have a few more that I would like to add and help all of you out. So if you have any questions, you can ask me right now. There was one question about in regards to group discussion. Group discussion, I'll take it next week. We are in short of time, but I will ensure that I will help you with these group discussion tips next month, next week. Otherwise, do any of you have any questions? Please ask me. All right. Okay, great. I don't see any of you have any questions. In that case, I have a homework for all of you. Ensure you write down your strengths and weaknesses. Ensure that you have analyzed yourself. These are some important things. And ensure you have your own answers for the questions that I've put out as well. Okay. So if you need any help from my end, if you need any kind of help, especially in regards to interview hacking or resume writing or even LinkedIn hacks, please get connected to me. My LinkedIn account is shown on the screen. Ensure you connect to me and I will help you with it. Okay. Next week I will come out with more questions. I will also be talking about cover letter, your SOPs if any of you are planning to move abroad. I will help you with it. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and wish you all a happy Ganesh Chaturthi as well. Take care. Have a good time with your family, and all the very best. Do well. Thank you, everyone.